Welcome to Shastrikara's astrological series. This is the presentation about the sidereal ephemeris for the year 2022. In this presentation, I'll be talking in general about the planetary combinations in the year 2022. And there are three slow-moving planets, Saturn, Jupiter, and Rahu. All the three slow-moving planets are changing their houses during the year 2022, which I'm going to talk more in detail in this presentation. And one of the important transit planet Mars is going to co-join with Saturn, Jupiter, and Rahu, all the three slow-moving planets between January and December of 2022. So this is the presentation where I'm going to talk in general, like what would be the impact based upon the natal moon position in all the 12 houses, and then the transit planets positions in whichever the house they are. So they will be in the year 2022. I'm hoping that you will like this presentation like my previous presentations, and in the second part, I'm going to take some examples of some famous people and my own chart, and then explain what are the possible things that can happen in the year 2022. And I'm hoping that you will like this presentation too. Thank you very much, and thanks a lot.
On 31st December 2021, Sun will be in Sagittarius, Moon is in Scorpio, Mercury will be in Capricorn, Venus will be in Sagittarius, Mars is in Scorpio, Jupiter is in Aquarius, Saturn is in Capricorn, and Rahu is in Taurus. So if you look at it, on 31st December, the only planets that are co-joined are Sun and Venus in Sagittarius, Moon and Mars in Scorpio, and these are the only important planets. And and Mercury and Saturn is in Capricorn. So there are three planets, three planetary combinations are happening. One set is the Sun and the Venus in Sagittarius. The other set is Moon and Mars in Scorpio. The third set is Mercury and Saturn in Capricorn. So that is what is the situation of the planetary positions on 31st December 2021. And then on from that day all the way till 27th of February 2022, you don't see any major things happening. But on 27th of February, the most important thing that you see is the number of planets residing in Capricorn. The very first thing you see is Mercury is in Capricorn, Venus is in Capricorn, Mars is in Capricorn, and Saturn is also in Capricorn. There are four planetary combinations that are happening approximately from 27th February all the way till 5th of March. That means 6 days, 1 week combination. This 1 week combination is very important because Saturn owns Capricorn, and it is co-joined with the violent planet Mars, and Venus is the arts, entertainment, and other stuffs. And then you have the Mercury, communications. So when such a complicated, important planets are joined there, where Mercury is a fast moving planet, Venus can also be considered as a fast moving planet, Mars is a moderate moving planet. So two fast moving planets and one moderate planet is co-joined with the slow moving planet malefic Saturn between February 27th and 5th of March is very important to be noted here. The next thing is from February 27th all the way till July 4th, approximately February, March, April, May, June, 4 months. Yeah, approximately 4 months. For a period of 4 months, Transit Mars is co-joined with Transit Saturn in Capricorn, the house owned by Saturn. So a malefic, a violent planet is residing in a house owned by a malefic and co-joined with the house owner. So this is the period which is very, very important for almost everyone, every human being, or even for some of the countries. The way how important is it can be determined based upon the natal position of the moon, which I'm going to talk more in detail in part 2. The other important thing you have to see here is when Mars is in Capricorn, its fourth aspect is on Aries. Aries is the house it owns. Aries means fire. So a violent planet is looking at its own house, co-joined in the house owned by a malefic with the house owner, and approximately somewhere until from February 27th till 16th or 17th of March, those 16 days are very quiet, and then Transit Rahu enters Aries. So from 17th of March all the way till 4th of July, for almost most of the people for whom based upon their natal position, if the from the natal position, if the Capricorn is a Dushtana house, then they are going to have a little bit life being a little bit challenging, irrespective of whether it is a human or the country, which I'm going to talk more in detail. So overall, from 17th March till 4th of July, overall the life, the activities or the events that are going to happen for any person is completely unpredictable, because transit Mars fourth aspect is on Aries, where transit Rahu is residing. So from 4th of July all the way till August, sorry, this is till April. Yeah, this is the April. The second combination is Mars and Jupiter combination. Between 8th April to 13th April, what you see is that Venus is in Aquarius, Mars will be in Aquarius, Jupiter will also be in Aquarius. So all Venus, it's fine. So, but the most important thing is a violent planet Mars is co-joining with a benefic planet Jupiter here in Aquarius. And when you look at it, they both are residing in the house owned by a malefic planet Saturn. On 14th April, that means approximately, transit Jupiter leaves Aquarius and enters into Pisces, the next one, its own house. That's an advantage for Jupiter, entering its own house. So between 8th of April to 13th of April, for people who are, for whom Mars is the position of Mars or the ownership of the houses for the Mars or the Dushtana houses, they will have some sort of a challenging situations with respect to Jupiter, whatever the house that Jupiter owns on their natal, on their birth chart. So 4th April, April 8th to 13th of April is something a little bit dynamic, and then once transit Jupiter leaves transit Mars and enters Pisces, that whatever challenges they have faced it will get subdued. The next thing is on 28th April. This is very important here. Until 28th April, transit Saturn will be in Capricorn, and then from Capricorn on 29th April, transit Saturn enters Aquarius. So it stays in, if you look at it, 29th and 30, up almost 31st, 29, 30 and 1st. Oh, all the way. So 29th, 30 and 1st. These are the 3 days where you can literally say that transit Saturn is in a static mode, because it is almost like 0 degrees. It is in Rashi Sandhi, so it is, you can consider, even though it is moving in a forward motion, the most important thing is it still have an impact on the house that owned the previous house, that is the Capricorn. So once it enters, transit Saturn enters Aquarius on 28th of April, it again co-joins with transit Mars. This is very important thing, we have to see it here. The transit Mars and transit Saturn co-joining in Aquarius. Earlier they both co-joined in Capricorn, now they are both are co-joining in Aquarius again. So these transit Saturn and transit Mars co-joining in the houses owned by Saturn, and where and joining with the owner is very important in the year 2022. That means starting February of 2027 all the way till 4th of July. This particular two planets combination might result into a lot of chaos and unpredictable events for the human, for the people, and then chaos for the countries. Another thing you have to see is when transit Mars is in the fourth house, is in Capricorn, its fourth aspect is on Aries, where probably Transit Rahu will be entering. But when Transit Saturn enters Aquarius somewhere in April, by that time Transit Rahu already entered Aries, you can see in the here, and that means Transit Saturn's third aspect is now on Aries, where Transit Rahu is residing. Earlier, Transit Mars fourth aspect is on Transit Rahu between in the month of February, and now Transit Saturn's third aspect is on Transit Rahu. So whichever way you look at it, starting February of 2022 all the way till July 4th of 2022, Transit Rahu is being aspected either by Transit Mars or Transit Saturn. This is the very important thing to note here. So all the way starting February till July in the year 2022, that means the first 6 months, those 6 months, life will be extremely challenging for most of the people, especially if Aries, Cancer, Capricorn or Aquarius, if one of these three houses is a Dushtana house, based from their natal position, you look at the Dushtana house. For that particular native or the country, it will be extremely challenging. So which I'm going to show you as with one of the example right after in the second part of my presentation. The next combination that I'm looking here in the ephemeris is in the month of May. Starting 17th May, Transit Mars is co-joined with Transit Jupiter. Like I said earlier, Mars co-joining with Jupiter is not a big deal to worry about when compared to Mars co-joining with Saturn or Rahu. So somewhere starting of May 17th May all the way till 26th of June, approximately 1 year, one month or 30 to 50 days, 40 days. So when this is happening, we don't need to worry much about this combination. But exactly at the same time, the most important thing here is during the same time, Saturn is still in Aquarius. That means its third aspect is still on Transit Rahu in Aries. So even though the combination of Mars and Jupiter is not going to create any havoc for the native, the Saturn's third aspect on Rahu and the problems or any other unpredictable events that can happen still continues all the way till 26th June 2022. Finally, from 27th June, Transit Mars will be entering its own house, Aries. Oh my gosh, that's exactly where Transit Rahu is residing. So all the way from 27th of June all the way till 10th of August. Oh gosh. So this is a very, very complicated period for person for whom Aries is a Dushtana house from their natal moon position. So because the violent Mars is in its own house and it is co-joined with the most unpredictable malefic, I should say it as planet Rahu. And if you look at it, between June all the way till 12th of July, so 27th June till 12th July, those 12 days, 13 days, Saturn will still be in Aquarius. That means its third aspect is still on, is on both Transit Mars and Transit Rahu. So this is the very important period. Overall, like I said earlier, and I keep repeating the same thing. Anyway, all the way till July of 2022, from starting February till July of 2022, the life will be extremely challenging for all those individuals for whom these houses are a Dushtana house. With Dushtana house is calculated with respect to the natal moon's position in their birth chart, and I will give you some one or two examples to show what exactly might happen. Let me summarize the slow moving planets summary all the way starting February till July of 2022. First important thing is Transit Mars co-joins with Transit Saturn for the first time in Capricorn between 27th February and 4th of July. And then Transit Mars will co-join with Transit Jupiter for the first time in Aquarius from 8th July to 14th of July. And then transit Mars which cojoins with transit Saturn for the second time in Aquarius from 29th April to 15th of May. So you might get confused, like how come the earlier, and I said transit Mars cojoins with transit Saturn in Capricorn, and now I'm saying that transit Mars will cojoin with transit Saturn in Aquarius. The reason is because Saturn moves from Capricorn to Aquarius, stays there for some time, and then comes back to Capricorn. So when transit Saturn is in Capricorn, it joins with Mars. When transit Saturn goes to Aquarius, by that time Mars is already will be there. So again it co-joins with Mars. So that's the reason why I said this. And then when it comes back to Capricorn, you can see it there. And so that's the reason you see here for the second time in Aquarius is only from 29th April to 15th May. It's very small period of time. And then from 17th May through 26th of June, transit Mars co-joins with transit Jupiter. From 26th June till 10th August, transit Mars co-joins with transit Rahu in Aries, its own house. And from 29th April to 12th of July, transit Saturn will be in Aquarius. And that's exactly the time when its third aspect is on transit Rahu. That's when both transit Rahu and transit Mars, transit Saturn's third aspect is on Aries, and that is when transit Rahu and transit Mars will be residing in Aries. So overall what you can see is that these three slow moving planets, Jupiter, Saturn and Rahu, are going to be the primary planets for every native during the year 2022. Whatever the changes, whether good or bad, is going to happen, it is these three planets that will be the primary reason, and transit Mars is the one that acts as a catalyst to these three planets, one of these three planets. And on 13th July, when transit Saturn goes into Aquarius, and then it comes back. That means from 8th July till, if I remember correctly, from 8th of July till 14th of July, transit Saturn will be in Aquarius, and then it will come back. 29th, no, it's from 20, yeah, on 13th July, transit Saturn returns back to Capricorn. So you can see that, like I said earlier, 7th of July 4th is the date when we have one set of problems, and then the other set of problems is till end of from June till August. So overall, from February all the way till July or August, give a plus or minus 10-15 days. So from February all the way till August, those 6 to 7 months is extremely challenging for almost all the natives for whom then the position, this Capricorn, Aquarius or Aries is a Dushtana house when looked from the natal moon position. Let me start analyzing the transit Rahu impact with respect to natal moon. We know that transit Rahu will be in Taurus in the month of January and February of 2022, and starting March all the way till December of 2022, transit Rahu will be in Aries. So Aries, when it enters the Aries in the month of March, the house is owned by Mars. So transit Rahu is going to reside in a house owned by a violent planet Mars starting March of 2022. Now let's go and look at how do we look at these type of transit planets impact on a particular native. Usually I do it is by looking at the natal moon's position at the time of birth of that particular native. Where is the moon's position, moon residing, and from there count the number of houses, and if it is a Dushtana house, based upon the house where it is, the impact can be predicted. Here is the chart that I use it. If natal moon is in Aries, then in January and February of 2022, transit Rahu will be in a Dushtana house. Already in the, I think for the since September of 2020 all the way till February of 2022, that is 1.5 years, transit Rahu is in Taurus. So if your natal moon is in Aries, then that means it is in the second house from natal moon. and second house is a Dushtana house, and it is also called as the Marakasthanamu. And the second house deals with the Dhanasthanamu and Kutumbasthanamu. So natives might have already started noticing some sort of a fluctuations in their personal life with respect to wealth, because Dhanasthanamu means wealth, the wealth either inherited from their parents or the spouse or someone, or through any other means, and some sort of a disturbances with respect to their family members. Since it's a Marakasthanamu, the Netu might have also noticed some sort of a threat, life-threatening situations in his or her life starting September 2020, and this will keep going all the way till February of 2022. And then once Transit Rahu enters Aries, it cojoins with natal moon. That means the native's mind will be extremely unstable, and that might result into some sort of mental distress, mental agony, and frustrations, depressions, aggressions. I would be more inclined towards aggressions, or taking some decisions instantaneously without giving enough thoughts. So this is how you can predict the impact of Transit Rahu for those natives whose natal moon position is in Aries. The best examples that I have, the examples, the charts I have is ex-US President Bill Clinton and the current US Vice President Kamala Harris. So I'm going to go in more in detail of these two charts later in part 2. When if natal moon is in Taurus, then already the natives starting September 2020, for these particular natives, already the transit Rahu is touching the natal moon, so they might have already gone through all this mental stress that I explained earlier, and that will keep continuing all the way till February of 2022. But the unfortunate part is the next one. From March till December, transit Rahu when it is in Aries, and if your natal moon is in Taurus, then it will be the 12th house, Dushtana house, Mokshasthanamu. 12th house has both positive and negative outcomes. If you take the negative outcome, if you want, based upon the age and social status and financial situations and all other things, you cannot predict in general, but you can separate them. If you take the negative outcome, 12th house deals with Mokshasthanamu, or place of cure, which is hospitalizations. So when transit Rahu enters Aries, and if your natal moon is in Taurus, that means the 12th house gets impacted, which is hospitalization, unexpected expenditures, and that might be because transit Rahu will have a direct aspect on the 7th house, which is the 6th house from natal moon. 6th house is Rogastanamu, debts and employ. Okay, so that is the negative side of it. Now the positive side of it is 6th house deals with, oh, by the way, the other negative side of the 6th house is separation. So the separation for the native is possible from, when I say separation, is separation from the spouse is possible, because transit Rahu will be in the 12th house and looking at the 6th house. So individually you have to see the individual chart and see, is the just based upon one transit planet, we cannot rush for a conclusion, but these are all the possibilities that can happen. And based upon case by case, you have to go through the individual chart and then figure it out. Are there any other planets that are supporting this negative part to happen, or are there any planets that are compensating what are the negative effect that is supposed to happen? And then the positive side of when transit Rahu is in the 12th house is, if the native is that there is a possibility for a foreign travel, long-term foreign travel, or settling in a foreign land, and depending upon the age, education, gender, social status, everything else, you have to tell it. And that foreign travel or settling in a foreign country will be due to employment conditions, because sixth house deals with employment conditions. So there is a possibility for some natives who gets a job abroad, goes there and goes to abroad, or who are working in abroad will have a change in their stuff and in their employment conditions and then settles there. And that this positive side of the impact can also have look at it from a different way. Is like, because the native is living abroad because based upon his or her employment conditions, there's a chance for the native to get separated temporarily from his or her spouse. So again, the sixth house, when I said there's a possible house of separation, this might be the another reason for the natives to get separated, the native to get separated from his or her spouse. So overall, you have to look individually each and every chart, but what you can see here is the in general, what are the possibilities that can happen. The most important thing here I want to tell with respect for transit Rahu is for those natives whose natal moon is in Virgo, Libra, Scorpio and Sagittarius. I would say only Virgo, Libra and Scorpio. These are the three houses that I'm extremely concerned about, because for those natives whose natal moon is in Virgo, they are going to, it's a Dushtana house. It's in the 8th house. Okay. And for those natives whose natal moon is in Libra, they are already having an impact of this 8th house impact with Rahu residing in Taurus until February. And then after that, it will be another Dushtana house, which is the Marakasthanam, the 7th house. And for those natives whose natal moon is in Sagittarius, that's the thing where you have to look at it is what type of impact did that transit Rahu when entered Taurus in September 2020 and stays there until February of 2022. Whatever the impacts that they had faced it, the unfortunate, unexpected impact exclusively with respect to the 6th house is Rogasthanamo, house of separation, employment conditions. That is something that comes to an end by February of 2022. So here you can see that I got some examples, like for Republic of India, transit natal moon is in Cancer. So it is the Labhasthanamu and career, the 10th house. 10th house, when you will look at the country, it is called the government or the administrator, the president or something like that. And then when the for 11th, when the natal moon is in Leo, I got 1%. When the later natal moon is in Virgo, oh yeah, I got two examples. One is the famous South Indian Telugu hero Chiranjeevi, and the other one is a US Senator Ted Cruz. So I might go more in detail about for these two people, explaining how Rahu's impact can be noticed. And then I didn't get much out of it for the others, so I will try to see if I can find something whose natal moon is in Libra, that's very important for me, or whose natal moon is in Scorpio. Now let's do the similar analysis with transit Jupiter, and transit Jupiter will be in Aquarius from January till April of 2022, and then it goes to Pisces in the month of May and stays there all the way till December of 2022. So what would be the impact? First of all, Jupiter is a benefic planet, so 99.9% of the time it will either do 100% good or at least 50% good. If it will do 50% good if it is in a Dushtana house, and 100% good if it is in a good houses, auspicious houses. So here you can see the ones that are in red color font are the Dushtana houses. So you expect a minimal issues from transit Jupiter when it is in any of these Dushtana houses. First and the foremost is Aries. If the natal moon is in Aries, from May till December, transit Jupiter will be in a Dushtana house. So 12th house deals with unexpected expenditures, foreign travel, and hospitalizations, sickness, all those things. So those type, it may not be that much scary for these particular natives, but the chances are high for something related to those type of events in their lifetime during this period. And then the most important thing I want to look at is Leo. When Cancer and Leo. Cancer, if the natal moon is in Cancer, then 8th house from January till April, Jupiter will be in the 8th house. That is for the country of Republic of India. The moon is in Cancer. That means transit Jupiter is going to be in Aquarius during this period. So something not good is can be expected, but exactly what exactly to is that, when you go deep tail into the chart, then you can tell what are the possible things that needs to be, that will be challenging for the country. And then Leo is something that is very bad, because earlier also, even when the natal moon is in Leo, for transit Rahu also it was very bad. And so it will be extremely the same way for people whose uh, natal moon is in Leo, will have something not that good. And you can see an example here. And then the Virgo also, you can see the examples here, not that good. And the last thing I want to look at is Aquarius and Pisces. Because the reason why I said Aquarius is because if moon is in Aquarius, between May and in the month of May and June of 2022, natal moon will be co-joining with Saturn. That means that natives whose moon is in Aquarius are going through the second part of the Sadeshani, and that's the time when Jupiter, the second house lord from Aquarius is Jupiter, is going to be in the second house, which is not a good sign. You can see for the country it is United States, and for the two Bollywood actor and actresses that I got it, their charts are also like that. So I'll be going more in detail for country of Republic of India, the Leo will Cosby, and probably for Aquarius, the country of US, and either the Bollywood hero Salman Khan and the heroine Katrina Kaif. I might go through all those charts and explain to you more in detail in my second part of the presentation. The last slow planet that I look for the analysis is the Saturn. Transit Saturn is good. It is a very important thing here. Transit Saturn from January till April, Transit Saturn will be in Capricorn, and then in the month of May and June it goes to Aquarius, and it comes back in July back to Capricorn, and then stays there in Capricorn all the way till November or December of 2022. So what the most important thing here is to see is that the transit Saturn goes into two houses. Both the houses it owns it, and that means the malefic planet is going wherever it is going to its own house. So like the Behuru Sarla Paddhati, one of the rules says transit Saturn is going to yell saying that he is the emperor and he is the ruler for that, not only for that houses but also for the chart, because he's been moving into both the houses that he owns, whereas the other planets except Jupiter is going to its own house, and but Jupiter is a benefic planet, so you cannot see much of it. The only thing transit Saturn can do is to minimize the good events that Jupiter wants to do it. Transit Saturn can create hurdles. The event will happen, but it's not a cakewalk for that particular NATO. Here, when you look at it, the most important thing that I see here is for people whose natal moon is in Gemini, they are going through Ashtama Shani, and they will keep going on. The Ashtama Shani continues all the way till December of 2022. That means for one more year, the last year, starting November of 2020, the Ashtama, or December of 2020, the Ashtama Shani started 2.5 years. So it will come the whole 2021 they had Ashtamashini, the whole 2022 they will have Ashtamashini too. That is for people whose natal moon is in Cancer, and then is in Gemini, sorry. Then for people whose natal moon is in Cancer, they will be going through the Ashtamashini only for the month of 2 months, May and June. That here in my example is the Republic of India. So in India, the country will be having some sort of troubles related to Saturn or created by the Saturn Ashtamashini between in month of May and June. I'll go more in detail when I analyze the country's chart. And then the other thing I want to look at it is the Leo. If moon is in Leo and transit Saturn, if it is in Rogasthanamo in Capricorn, moon is in Leo, it will be in Rogasthanamo, and then when it is in Aquarius, it will be in the Markasthanamo. So either of the way, that particular Leo, people whose natal moon is Leo are going to have tough time this 2022. And then for Virgo, I don't need to worry much about it. Sagittarius a little bit, but I'm jumping all the way till Aquarius. The reason why I'm jumping all the way both to both Capricorn and Aquarius is because for natives whose natal moon is either in Capricorn or Aquarius are going through the Sadeshani period. So that means they are going to have a bad, the country, whatever the impact that they are seeing since January of 2021 will keep continuing for these particular natives. And here I can see especially for Aquarius, when the natal moon is in Aquarius, that is for the country United States, and the two Bollywood famous celebrities, they are going through the what you call Ilnatsini or Shadeshani, and this is the second phase of the Sadeshani. So they'll be going through the first phase of Shadeshani in January through April, and again from July to December, and a little bit of second phase of Shadeshani in the month of May and June. So overall, for the Republic of India, for United States, and the two Bollywood celebrities, May and June are very, very, very critical. And that's what I'm going to, when I go more in detail, I'm going to explain, and especially keeping in mind the Ashtamashani and or the Sadeshani part of the for these particular persons.
Let me conclude the presentation. As I said, there are few important things that we need to keep in mind for the year of 2022. The most important thing is starting February of 2022 all the way till August of 2022, the total of 6 to 7 months. This 7 months period is very difficult for people for whom the natal moon, these slow moving planets are in any of the Dushtana houses, which I had explained in general. And the presentation is exclusively to explain what are the possibilities that can happen. And in this general presentation, for different slow moving planets with respect to the natal moon's position. Thank you very much for watching this video. This is the first part of the Sidereal Ephemeris for the year 2022. In the second part, I will be taking few examples like two countries, United States of America and Republic of India, the two countries, and then four famous celebrities, Rajinikanth from South India, Chiranjeevi from South India, Salman Khan from Bollywood, and Katrina Kaif from Bollywood, and one US Senator Ted Cruz, altogether of 5, 6, 7 examples, and then my own chart. The reason why I'm giving my own chart is because I'm the first hand experiencing what are the predictions. I had done it. How far are they true? I will be experiencing the first hand, and so I can give the feedback and I can learn from my predictions. If things went wrong, if I couldn't predict it properly, I can learn from where was my mistake based upon the event that happened and fine tune my prediction analysis. So the second part, I will be putting it somewhere in the month of December. Thank you very much for watching this video. Have a good day and enjoy.
Disclaimer. Last updated, May 29, 2020. Interpretation and definitions. Interpretation. The words of which the initial letter is capitalized have meanings defined under the following conditions. The following definitions shall have the same meaning regardless of whether they appear in singular or in plural. Definitions. For the purposes of this disclaimer, company, referred to as either the company, we, us or are in this cookie's policy, refers to Saturn Rahu astrological series. You means the individual accessing the service, or the company, or other legal entity on behalf of which such individual is accessing or using the service, as applicable. Application means the software program provided by the company downloaded by you on any electronic device named Saturn Rahu astrological series. Service refers to the application. Disclaimer. The information contained on the service is for general information purposes only. The company assumes no responsibility for errors or omissions in the contents of the service. In no event shall the company be liable for any special, direct, indirect, consequential, or incidental damages or any damages whatsoever, whether in an action of contract, negligence or other tort, arising out of or in connection with the use of the service or the contents of the service. The company reserves the right to make additions, deletions, or modifications to the contents on the service at any time without prior notice. This disclaimer has been created with the help of the disclaimer generator. The company does not warrant that the service is free of viruses or other harmful components. External links. Disclaimer. The service may contain links to external websites that are not provided or maintained by or in any way affiliated with the company. Please note that the company does not guarantee the accuracy, relevance, timeliness, or completeness of any information on these external websites. Errors and omissions. Disclaimer. The information given by the service is for general guidance on matters of interest only. Even if the company takes every precaution to ensure the content of the service is both current and accurate, errors can occur. Plus, given the changing nature of laws, rules and regulations, there may be delays, omissions or inaccuracies in the information contained on the service. The company is not responsible for any errors or omissions, or for the results obtained from the use of this information. Fair use. Disclaimer. The company may use copyrighted material which has not always been specifically authorized by the copyright owner. The company is making such material available for criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, or research. The company believes this constitutes a fair use of any such copyrighted material as provided for in Section 107 of the United States Copyright Law. If you wish to use copyrighted material from the service for your own purposes that go beyond fair use, you must obtain permission from the copyright owner. Views expressed. Disclaimer. The service may contain views and opinions which are those of the authors and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of any other author, agency, organization, employer or company, including the company. Comments published by users are their sole responsibility and the users will take full responsibility, liability and blame for any libel or litigation that results from something written in or as a direct result of something written in a comment. The company is not liable for any comment published by users and reserve the right to delete any comment for any reason whatsoever. No responsibility. Disclaimer. The information on the service is provided with the understanding that the company is not herein engaged in rendering legal, accounting, tax, or other professional advice and services. As such, it should not be used as a substitute for consultation with professional accounting, tax, legal or other competent advisors. In no event shall the company or its suppliers be liable for any special, incidental, indirect, or consequential damages whatsoever arising out of or in connection with your access or use or inability to access or use the service. Use at your own risk. Disclaimer. All information in the service is provided as is, with no guarantee of completeness, accuracy, timeliness or of the results obtained from the use of this information, and without warranty of any kind, express or implied, including, but not limited to warranties of performance, merchantability and fitness for a particular purpose. The company will not be liable to you or anyone else for any decision made or action taken in reliance on the information given by the service or for any consequential, special or similar damages, even if advised of the possibility of such damages. Contact us. If you have any questions about this disclaimer, you can contact us by email, jupiter@gmail.com.